Most used cars are easy to recommend when their job is narrow. A tiny hatchback works well in the city. A large SUV carries the family. A wagon handles the luggage, and a four-wheel drive reaches remote campsites. But the hardest question to answer is what to buy when you only have room for one set of keys. An only car has to survive weekday commuting, shopping center parking, airport runs, and hauling weekend luggage. It has to comfortably fit adult passengers and child seats, all while being capable of occasional remote access and long highway journeys. It should be practical without becoming unnecessarily large, efficient without feeling underpowered, and mechanically sensible without becoming painfully dull. The goal is to find a vehicle that reduces the number of situations where you wish you had bought something different. But before we look at specific models, establish your baseline. Every buyer must obtain a PPSRR report, complete a VIN recall check, and arrange an independent pre-purchase inspection, because on-paper versatility cannot compensate for accident damage, poor servicing, or an aging transmission. With those baselines set, let's look at 5 used options that can cover an unusually broad range of jobs. Coming in at number 5 is the first-generation Australian Honda HR-V. This chart shows its ideal balance for a single person or couple who spends most of the week in the city, but still needs genuine cargo flexibility. To get that balance, we target the 1.8-liter naturally aspirated petrol engine with front-wheel drive. You give up the punch of a turbocharger and the traction of all-wheel drive, but you also eliminate their maintenance complexity. Overtaking at highway speeds will require some planning, especially with passengers and the air conditioning running. The trade-off pays off inside the cabin. Honda moved the fuel tank, allowing the rear Magic Seat system to fold in several ways. You can raise the seat bases to carry tall items behind the front row, or fold the backrests entirely flat to create a long cargo floor for bicycles, flat-pack furniture, and pets. During your inspection, demand invoices proving the CVT received the correct Honda-specified fluid at the right intervals. A simple logbook stamp isn't enough. You also need to test the air conditioning at maximum cooling to ensure it handles an Australian summer without expensive repairs. While the ride can feel firm on coarse chip surfaces, it remains one of the most adaptable vehicles in its class. It performs many of the heavy lifting jobs that buyers assume require a much larger SUV, all while staying easy to park. Number 4 is the 10th generation Civic hatch. This scorecard maps out the alternative for someone who wants the passenger space and cargo depth of a small SUV, but prefers the lower stance and stable country road driving of a traditional car. While lower trims use a 1.8-liter engine, the only car roll demands the 1.5-liter VTEC turbo. It provides stronger mid-range acceleration for overtaking and merging, meaning it can carry adult passengers and luggage on the highway without feeling strained. When inspecting the 1.5 turbo, you must start the engine cold. Check the oil level and smell the dipstick for excessive petrol contamination. Any rising oil level or strong fuel smell warrants immediate investigation before purchase. Look past the exterior styling and you'll find a deep, broad cargo area. Honda even used an unusual side-mounted cargo blind, completely removing the annoyance of storing a bulky conventional parcel shelf when you need to load oversized gear. Sitting lower to the ground gives it a real advantage in fuel efficiency and driving dynamics. It provides much of the space people expect from an SUV, but behaves remarkably better on the open road. At number 3, we have the 4th generation Kia Sportage. As this flowchart outlines, for an ordinary family spending their time on sealed roads, the smartest strategy is to actively reject the higher-tier drivetrains. By selecting the 2.0-liter naturally aspirated petrol engine and front-wheel drive, you avoid a diesel particulate filter and the extra components of all-wheel drive. That drastically cuts down your long-term ownership risks and maintenance costs. The required trade-off here is performance. The 2.0-liter petrol needs revs when the vehicle is heavily loaded. If you expect diesel-style low-speed torque on hills or highway merges, you will find it slow. Start the engine cold to listen for abnormal knocking or chain noise, and carefully check the oil history. Then look for the classic signs of school run wear: scraped rear bumpers, damaged door edges, and broken cargo panels. They aren't mechanically serious, but they reveal exactly how the car was treated. It isn't the fastest option on the market, but by pairing a practical, tall cabin with a simple 6-speed torque converter automatic, it becomes one of the easiest vehicles to fit into a predictable family routine. Number 2 is the 5th-generation Subaru Outback. This profile is built for an active family that needs maximum cargo space and regular access to gravel roads without stepping up to a heavy, compromised four-wheel drive. The sweet spot is the 2.5-liter four-cylinder petrol engine. The available 3.6-liter 6 is stronger but uses far more fuel, and the diesel adds unnecessary emissions complexity. The 2.5 delivers the most balanced economy for a one-car household. You get roughly 213 millimeters of ground clearance and permanent all-wheel drive. That provides excellent traction on wet bitumen and corrugated access roads. However, it is strictly not a low-range four-wheel drive, and you cannot treat it like one on difficult tracks or deep sand. Because of that permanent all-wheel drive system, all 4 tires must match in brand, size, and tread depth to prevent drivetrain stress. And crucially, you need a Subaru specialist to scan the CVT for stored codes. A dashboard without warning lights is never a guarantee of a healthy transmission. If you rigorously verify the transmission and oil history, the Outback stands as one of the very few vehicles capable of replacing both a traditional long-roof wagon and a soft-roading SUV. Taking the number 1 spot is the 4th-generation Toyota RAV4. This final chart reveals why. It covers the widest array of ordinary Australian jobs without forcing you into complicated mechanics. The specific version to hunt for is the 2.5-liter naturally aspirated petrol, paired with the conventional 6-speed automatic and on-demand all-wheel drive. This avoids the CVT found in the 2.0-liter models and completely sidesteps the expensive turbo diesel risks. The upright body style offers a broad opening for child seats and makes sliding in bulky cargo incredibly easy, even if the floor isn't quite as long as the Outback's. The higher seating position gives excellent visibility, yet the overall footprint stays completely manageable in tight city parking. When inspecting the all-wheel drive system, get underneath to check the rear differential and coupling for leaks. Then, drive the car in tight circles on a suitable surface and listen closely for any driveline vibration or binding. The 2.5-liter all-wheel drive RAV4 is our strongest one-car solution. It is spacious, mechanically understandable, and perfectly judged for almost every normal journey a driver will face. Before you hand over your money, look at your calendar. List the most demanding jobs the vehicle must complete over a normal year. Do not base your entire purchase around your easiest weekday commute. Next, physically load your actual child seats, prams, and dog crates into the vehicle. Theoretical brochure measurements cannot tell you if your specific equipment will actually clear the doorframe. Then, deliberately choose the simplest drivetrain that still performs your required jobs. Relying on front-wheel drive or a naturally aspirated engine when possible actively lowers your long-term maintenance bills and insurance premiums. Finally, never spend your entire budget on the asking price. Keep a portion in reserve for registration, immediate wear items like tires, and a major service. Practicality does not pause mechanical wear. The final buying rule is simple. The best only car is not the vehicle that performs one task perfectly. It is the vehicle that completes every regular task without creating unnecessary cost or frustration.